Looking for unforgettable performances right here in your backyard? Come experience the magic at NSU Playhouse, where talented students and seasoned directors bring powerful stories to life on stage, one breathtaking performance at a time. With the Sequoia Institute subscription, subscribers can get 20% off all Sequoia Institute shows. There is a Playhouse Pass which gives members access to every show that the NSU Playhouse produces every year. Shows are free for all NSU students. For more information, visit nsuplayhouse.ludus.com.
Hello, welcome to Hawk Talk, the Northeastern's official podcast. My name is Jayden Milton, TUNY Digital Media Coordinator, and today I'm sitting down with Gabby Hall, Black Student Union President, and Jay Caldwell, Kappa Alpha Psi Fraternity President, who are here to discuss their organizations and Black culture representation on campus. I just wanted to thank you both for taking the time to sit down with me and talk with me today. Now let's get started. I would first kind of just want to start about the organizations that you're both in. So what is the BSU and then what's your fraternity that you're in?
Yeah, absolutely. So the Black Student Union is just really a community where Black students can gather, or any students for that matter, where we just celebrate Black culture and we learn more about that. And we just want Black students to feel seen on campus. So that's really the mission and what we're getting at. And right now it's just a community that hangs out. And yeah, that's really what we are right now.
So Kappa Alpha Psi Fraternity Incorporated, first and foremost, we're the greatest D9 fraternity ever created. We're a fraternity that encourages achievement in every field of human endeavor. So we are big on brotherhood and bonding and everything like that. Again, we're big on community and everything like that. So we're a great fraternity. Let's put it like that.
Can you kind of talk a little bit about it being a D9 fraternity? So it's one of the Divine Nine sororities and fraternities. So can you kind of explain that a little bit more?
Again, we're one of, if I'm correct, we have 5 fraternities and 4 sororities. We were the first to ever be created, but not everybody knows that. But again, our 10 founders, they went through everything, faced prejudice and everything like that, especially in Bloomington, Indiana. They fought through a lot to start this fraternity and just push the brotherhood to the next level, make sure that we all succeeded. So, yeah.
Gabby, with you being in a sorority yourself, but obviously it's not one of the D9, what does it mean to you to have one of those representations on campus?
I think it makes the Greek life community that we've had for such a long time has kind of felt like a bubble. And I think Greek life at NSU or Panhellenic or fraternity life at NSU is starting to see that there's more than just ourselves, and I think that's just so important going out into the real world and just real world application of you may be in a group and you may be in a bubble, but there's something so much bigger than you, and there's so many different cultures and ways of doing things. And so I think it's just kind of helping everybody realize that there's so much more diversity and richness in culture of what we're a part of as a whole than we initially realized.
In my views of a D9, it's very rich in Black culture, and that's kind of the basis for everything, right?
Most definitely, just being able to be unapologetically Black, you know what I'm saying, to not be afraid to embrace your culture. And I think that's one of the biggest things, you know what I'm saying?
What need do you guys see for these type of organizations on campus?
Well, I grew up in Tahlequah, so I've always kind of noticed a disparity between Black communities here and white communities here. I feel like a lot of Black students that are coming to NSU are not coming from predominantly white institutions. They're coming from very Black institutions, Black schools, Black areas. And I think when they get here, they feel that disconnect of these organizations are predominantly white, where do I fit in? And so I think that's why our organizations are so important on campus, is because it kind of bridges that disconnect. So I've noticed that since I was in 4th grade. That's when I moved here, and that's why I believe that the BSU and Kappa Alpha Psi are so important on campus.
Most definitely. Majority of the percentage of Black people on campus are mainly sports, transfers in and everything like that. So I feel like the need of us having a home and finding that place where you belong on campus, you know what I'm saying, to, feel welcomed. So I feel like it's really good importance to have us on campus.
Right. And I grew up in predominantly white institutions, so I kind of learned how to mold myself and be a chameleon in those spaces. And then I realized that wasn't something I should have had to do. I should have had access to those Black organizations growing up. And so I wanted to kind of break that cycle of having to become that chameleon with the BSU and allow people to have a space where they can be as Black as they want to be. And it's not you're too loud, you're ghetto, you're embarrassing yourself. It's you're you, and that's okay.
Yeah, I couldn't have said it better myself. Growing like where I'm from, the population is predominantly white, more white than Black. But yeah, just like growing up, you automatically have like that stereotype where, where, they think you're going to be trouble or, you're less likely to succeed. And I feel like that's just a big thing, helping people prove people wrong. Like my experience, like going through, dealing with teachers or coaches or whatever, they're more for themselves rather than, pushing us in the right direction. And I feel like that's a big thing that needs to be shed light on. So, yeah, most definitely.
And Jay, I would say as a Black mixed woman on campus, I feel like I've probably had an easier experience than you when it comes to those stereotypes being put on me. I feel like I've seen a lot more, not saying that I haven't experienced that discrimination, but I'm saying like I've seen a lot more with Black men on campus be seen immediately as, boom, you're a threat. Boom, you're going to be an issue. Would you agree with that?
Yeah, I do agree, And even with Kappa Alpha Psi Fraternity Incorporated, there is, stereotypes from past incidents from different schools, because we're a non-hazing fraternity, zero tolerance at all. So, we have to try and pick up the slack from where we fell off in those areas, and we have to try and prove ourselves as being good and good for the community and everything like that. So
Yeah, and I think for me personally, I'm the same as you guys. I grew up in a predominantly white institution, and so it's different to see that you guys are doing this. I mean, I'm a graduate student, so I'm out of here this semester, and so I'm not as involved as you guys. And then I've been here, I think 3 or 4 years, and I've never I haven't seen something that you guys are doing. So that's amazing to kind of see that you guys are leaving this legacy and that you guys are having a hand in this. Yeah, and I think it's amazing. How do you think these organizations bring a sense of belonging for people?
I'm gonna give you a little bit on the history of Kappa Alpha Psi. So, Kappa Alpha Psi was created again by 10 founders. They had a dream to sow a seed, a fraternal tree whose fruits will be available to and enjoyed by college men everywhere, regardless of color, religion, or national origin. So it doesn't matter where you're from, Once you come into the bond, you're welcomed with open arms. No judgment, leave everything at the door. We're going to completely support you and make sure that you achieve in whatever you want to do with your life. We'll always be able to reach out that reaching hand, that helping hand. And I think that is a really big part of belonging. You can be a part of sports and everything like that, but not everybody has your best interest for you. So I think that having that place to be yourself and not be judged, I feel like that's very important.
Mm-hmm. And to kind of piggyback off what you were saying, I've brought friends around my Black family, and the first thing they always say is, oh my gosh, they're so welcoming. That I feel like that is a part of Black culture that's never discussed. Our hair, our music, things like that are always discussed, but just the belonging nature of Black people, I mean, they will just welcome you in with open arms. I feel like I haven't had one friend say, oh my gosh, your family was so, they didn't want to talk to me. It's never been that. And so I think the BSU, part of the mission is to celebrate that Black culture, and a way that we can execute that is no matter what your sexual orientation is, your race, whoever you are, you can come into the BSU and you're welcome to be whoever you are. And there's a zero tolerance policy for if you're going to come into the BSU, if you're going to be a member, you can't make anybody feel less than, because the mission of this is, as Black students, we've been made to feel less than so many times, so we're not going to do that to anybody else. And just an essential part of Black culture to me is welcoming and being a place where people can belong. And so I think just being Black and celebrating that just opens a sense of belonging to anybody is really what I'm trying to say.
Yeah, I do agree.
We'll be back after a quick break. When life gets tough, sometimes we do not know how to manage our emotions, stress, and anxiety. HawkReach is a free confidential counseling service available to all enrolled NSU students. Counseling staff encourages and practices inclusiveness, respectful of age, gender, sexuality, ethnicity, religion, and more. When you are needing help, go to HawkReach, available at all NSU campuses. HawkReach is open 8 a.m. to 5 p.m. at the Lozier Complex, north of the housing office. Call 918-444-2042 or go to offices.nsuok.edu/student-affairs/student services/HawkReach counseling services.
Everywhere that I go, you know what I'm saying, I try and treat everyone with, you never know what people are going through first and foremost. You don't want to make their day worse or, you know what I'm saying, put more on their plate than what's needed, you know what I'm saying. So I always try and go around, treating everyone, asking how they doing, doing checkups because, again, like, it's very important to, find people, get them in the right headspace and just help them feel supported.
Yeah. And I mean, as Black students, we know what it's like to be looked at and immediately judged. And so I think Black organizations carry this readiness for that kind of no tolerance for discrimination because we know exactly how it feels and we know exactly what not to do because it's been done to us. And so I think Black organizations really carry that strategy and that technique of just being welcoming and being open because we know what it's like to have people look at us and automatically assume something about us.
Absolutely. Which is why I was trying to say, like, we're just back on the yard. We've been going for 12, almost 13 years now. We were on the yard, but, we didn't have many pledges back then. So, what I'm saying, it didn't happen to go through. So we just came back in the fall. And, again, we have to, like, it's a blessing, but also kind of you're kind of starting off behind because you have to show, like, oh, this, like, we're good, you know what I'm saying? Like, this is going to be a good fraternity, and this is a good idea to do. So I agree. I definitely do.
Yeah, I think, Gabby, you touched on some things that I was actually going to cover anyways because, I mean, to see that representation and to see, like, I live a lot of my life, whereas why would I judge you because of how you were and how you were made and like the color of your skin or your sexual orientation? Because people judge me because of the color of my skin, just because I don't look the exact same way as you do. And so I've always had that mindset, and so I think it's amazing that we've all had that mindset because, like, we don't really know each other and we still all have that same mindset. Why, I don't know if we've really touched this, but like, why do you think representation is so important on campus like this?
I think it's because this campus was, built out of representation, right? So it was a Cherokee female seminary before it was anything else, you know what I mean? And so that's so rich, that's in the roots of this campus. We just can't let that die out, you know what I mean? That representation may look different in a lot of ways, and I think that's another important thing is this campus is built on representation, and we are Black students that are representing our culture, but I hope that this representation leads to Hispanic students speaking out about their culture, more LGBTQ+ students speaking about their culture. I just want that to build and build and build because representation is so important, and it can start with one organization and blossom into so many others.
I agree. I feel like representation is important because not everybody has a voice, Not everybody has that platform to speak out when there's a problem or there's a concern on campus about how things go on or the way things are structured. So I feel like having representation and being able to speak your mind and, to fully not have bias, and like fully be understood, I feel like that's very important.
How was the process to kind of start both of your organizations? Because correct me if I'm wrong, both of your organizations kind of came back at the same, like you started the BSU at the same time that the Noops came back. So kind of how did that?
I think about the surreal moment of like the BSU exec board all sat together. We hadn't even had our first meeting yet. We had all just decided this is something we want to do, and we sat together at the Noops probate, and it just felt like such a revolutionary moment for me personally, and I think that energy was kind of palpable with all the girls I was sitting with because it was like, I guess we all got the idea at the same time to do this. I don't know what it is. I don't know if it's just the climate we're in the world right now where we see the need for that. But starting it at the same time has been so lovely because I've gotten to talk to Jay and Colin, and it's just like we're in it together. And starting it, my experience was, I just talked to 2 advisors and a couple friends and we could get it started. But I know for Kappa Alpha Psi it was so much more than that. But it wasn't really about the logistics of getting it started. It was just about that the community of Black students here just wanted to get something started all at the same time. And I feel like that's lit a fire under all of us that we have that support. And so, it's been amazing. It's been so encouraging, and it's grown me so much as a person.
So some of our older brothers, Province Polemark, Shannon L. Armstrong Sr., and Tulsa alumni Polemark, Jackie Jameson, they both really pushed to get us back on the yard, you know what I'm saying? We have, again, been gone for almost 13 years, so they were really pushing to bring back this chapter because this chapter had a lot of influence back in the day, you know what I'm saying? We were pretty much known everywhere and known for our community service and, just everything that we did was, positive, you feel me? So it was definitely an honor and a blessing to be the first line to come back because, you know what I'm saying, it's a lot that goes into it, so it's a lot of work and it's a lot of business too, but again, we achieved, so it's amazing being back.
This one's kind of going to be a little bit of a crazy question, but what are your experiences being Black students at a predominantly white institution?
For this one, I moved out here summer of 2024, and you know what I'm saying, I'm coming from California, where the population is predominantly Black. So, you know what I'm saying, I was in Long Beach and Los Angeles area, so coming from that, being around that culture and everything, and then coming to here where, you know what I'm saying, it's not really big, you know what I'm saying, there's nothing really around, what is there to do? I kind of feel like it was kind of weird just like being standing out because like even like the football players on campus at the time, you know what I'm saying, they still had this type of reputation that we had to break, you know what I'm saying, we were seen in a bad light, trying to go to functions and everything like that, we were already discriminated against and everything like that, and I'm like, that's crazy, like what does, past instances have to do with me, you know what I'm saying, so it's definitely, it's so much more, but yeah.
Yeah, I grew up in Oklahoma. I grew up in this area, and I think so much of what I went through growing up in predominantly white institutions, I only went to a predominantly Black school for 2 weeks. Crazy life story. I can't get into it right now. This podcast would be 3 hours long. But I only went to a predominantly Black institution for 2 weeks. And so my experience was having to learn that the things I went through aren't okay and aren't normal. You know what I mean? Just from the little things of like, I remember one time I did really well on a test. And a girl told me that the test was probably for new kids because she just couldn't accept I was smart. I know that I've had times where, oh, you're actually really pretty for a Black girl. You're actually really smart. You're actually really good at speaking. You actually have a really nice voice, the actually of it all. Growing up in a predominantly white institution of, you actually can do this, you know what I mean? You're actually capable. And, that was just normal for me, you know what I mean? And I think so much of being a woman is your beauty and how you look that's ingrained in you from such a young age. And I had to learn that people saying I looked like a boy, or people saying my nose was too big, or people saying my lips were too big, or people making fun of my hair was not normal. That wasn't how I was supposed to be treated. But growing up in predominantly white institutions, that's how I was treated. And so I had to unlearn so much of what was taught, because it almost gives you that, you're actually good at this. It almost gives you this internalized, like, racism, this hierarchy of I'm better than those other Black people. And that's something I had to unlearn, because I remember I didn't meet my dad's side of the family, which my dad is Black. I didn't meet his side until I was 9. And I was taught that I was a better Black person. I was taught I was a better Black person because I spoke more proper than them. I sounded more white than them. I was more educated than them. And so I had to unlearn not only the things that were taught to me about my own self-worth and my own Blackness, but I also had to unlearn that just because you fit in with white people more doesn't make you a better Black person, doesn't make you a better person, period. And so, there's just so much unlearning you have to do when you grow up in predominantly white institutions, and that's why I started the BSU, was because I didn't want any Black students to fall into the same traps and fall into the same patterns that I did, if that makes sense.
Yeah, I kind of feel the same with how you're saying, like, when I grew up in, like, those schools where it was, we're talking about history and, of course, to bring up a slave. So then it's like they look at you, or, like, the lights go off. And it's like you spend a lot of time kind of, like, hiding your Blackness and kind of hiding your yourself just because it's like, well, I'm in this school and I can't really be who I am. And I think coming to college and like really getting into the culture and the stuff that I had to learn, where it's like, okay, well, that wasn't okay. But when you're in that, you don't really notice that. And like, I wasn't around my Black side of my family kind of the same as you as much. And so a lot of that was where I had to realize like, oh, that's not normal, or not every single person should experience that. It's the same as like when I wear like a do-rag or I wear my bonnet somewhere for my hair. It's like, you kind of have to be like, who's looking at me, who's judging me? But it's just like, that's just who you are. And so I've never understood why people act like that and people make it a bigger deal than what it is. But you kind of have to realize like, that's just kind of how we grow up, and you kind of have to, I don't know, change the way that you think and the way that you learn things, but you shouldn't have to. And so I think that's like, the organizations that you guys are a part of will help a bunch of students to kind of unlearn what they've been taught. So I think that's an amazing thing.
And right. And I mean, being mixed too, I had to reconcile that being Black doesn't look just like one thing, because I mean, from one side of the predominantly white side of my life, I was getting that I was too Black. And then from one side of my family, I was getting that I wasn't Black enough. And so I think another beautiful part of the BSU are there are so many different people that have already showed up. I mean, you have your athletes, you have like, I mean, I feel like there's just a stereotype that all Black women are loud. And we have these like Black girls sitting in there that are just quiet and quaint. Then we have a white girl in there. Then we have a Hispanic girl in there. And we have all these people that are just showing that racial identity doesn't just mean one thing. And so I think that's also something so beautiful about what we're navigating as organizations, that being a Black man doesn't just mean that you're what society wants you to be, that you're what movies and shows portray you to be. You know, that's something I love about Kappa Alpha Psi is every time you see them representing their fraternity, they are dressed to the nines, they are standing up straight, they are talking to you, they are defying every single stereotype that Black men have put against them. And I think something so beautiful about our organizations is that we're redefining what Blackness looks like and what you have to look like, as you can identify as whatever you want to be, and that is personal to you, and you don't have to conform to any box for that. And so that's something I'm loving that I'm seeing coming from both of our organizations.
Yeah, I mean, we have many real famous Kappas that, you know, represent like Brother Ryan Clark, you know, being on ESPN, you know what I'm saying, representing not only just like for what's right, but also representing like you don't have to be held within the stereotypes. You can break out, you can succeed, if that makes sense. So again, like with me joining, I've had so many opportunities, business opportunities and everything like that, to, you know, go out, learn, you know, do internships and everything like that. And just one of the biggest things is the wisdom that is passed down from older brothers to younger brothers. And that's one of the biggest things that I love about this fraternity, is because you're never left out. They're always going to put you in a position to where you know the game, like you know what's going to go on, but there's ways around it. Like you don't have to let something stop you. You can keep pushing, always keep going forward.
Yeah, and I think also like for me, going back to like how you were saying, fighting those stereotypes and being educational and doing all that, that's like a huge reason why, like I'm in my master's program right now, so I'll be finished this semester. And so that's a big push for me to be another Black student a part of that, because I mean, there's not a lot of Black people with a master's. So like being and fitting into that organization is like amazing to me.
Yeah, it is amazing. You should be very proud of yourself.
Congratulations.
Yeah.
Thank you. Let's go into Black History Month, because, I mean, February is Black History Month. So kind of what are you guys doing to celebrate Black History Month?
I remember I'm not doing anything really specific right now. I think my version of celebrating Black History Month is I've been really pouring all the energy I can into the BSU. I just had a meeting with Black alumni. Actually, Jackie Jameson was in that meeting. And I mean, just trying to pour as much as I can into this month has really been my mission. But I remember when I was a sophomore in high school, I picked out my hair every single day for Black History Month. And I had like a 2-foot globe around my head. It was great. And so, but yeah, Black History Month, I think I'm just really celebrating it through building this organization and trying to build a legacy from just a month-old organization.
Yeah. For us, you know what I'm saying, again, we have a province coming up, so I've really been putting my energy into that. But, you know, we've been doing things in the community, you know, we just had the Room to Read day where, you know, you go out to elementary schools and, you know, read to the kids and everything like that. So I feel like for us, how we've been celebrating this, we've just been giving back to the community. You know what I'm saying? Being mentors to the younger men like Kappa League. We have an event coming up with them. I think the 28th, we're bringing the Kappa Leaguers down to the basketball game, you know what I'm saying? Spending time with them, like, you know, talking to them, you know, giving them advice, whatever they need. And I feel like that's a really big thing, you know what I'm saying, to make sure they're headed in the right direction, they have the right mindset and all the things they need to be successful.
And I love that you said that you guys are like reading to kids and stuff like that, because I feel like every time a black man's presented in a classroom, he's a cautionary tale. Or he's dead because of something that happened in history. And so I think it's so beautiful that y'all are pushing the envelope in that way of you're presenting black men as people who are educated and people who can pour into children's lives instead of, oh, black men are absent from children's lives or black men are these things, those stereotypes. I love that y'all are doing that. That's amazing.
And I think being in this fraternity, it's a real full circle like moment for me, because when I was younger, you know what I'm saying, we was Boys and Girls Club, you know, we would have mentors come down. Crazy part was our mentors was from Kappa Alpha Psi Fraternity Incorporated. So with that, you know what I'm saying, me and one of my hometown best friends, his name is Brandon. You know what I'm saying? We used to be trying to stroll and, you know what I'm saying, oh, yeah, I want to be like him. I want to dress like him and everything like that. And then for it to turn around, you know, it actually happened. And, you know, me being in pole mark of our chapter here at Zeta Rho, I'm telling you, it's amazing. Like, it feels so good.
That's insane. What does Black History Month mean to you both as leaders of this organization, and how do you kind of put that into your organizations?
So, you know, Black History Month, it gives us a chance to actually really find out about our history, to embrace it, you know what I'm saying, to not just what's taught, but actually, you know, the real story, like being able to talk about it and really assess, you know, dissect it and really think about it, let it soak in, you know what I'm saying. There's so much information that we don't know, but, you know what I'm saying, that have access to it, basically.
I think Black History Month for me, I feel like I may be the only person, but I feel like you both can agree. During February, it just gives me this sense of strength, no matter what I'm doing throughout February, because I have a consistent reminder that people before me have gotten through harder things. So whatever I'm getting through, like building this organization has been difficult. Like I feel like you could probably agree there's been times where it's like, whoa, like I don't know if I can do this. And of course you have to have a team of people around you. I'm not doing this alone by any means. Shout out to my executive board. They're so amazing, such amazing women. But it gives me a sense of strength, and it gives me a sense of perseverance throughout the entire month. And it's a month of reflection, just knowing that who I am in my DNA is strength and resilience and persistence and culture. And there's just this richness about who I get to be. I get to be Black. It's not a burden, it's a privilege. And that's something that I get to remember every single day during this month. And I mean it, it's so important.
And I do agree with you, to piggyback off of you. When you said it's like a teamwork thing, you know, you're not doing it by yourself, you know. My two brothers, Colin and Julian, you know what I'm saying, they're a real big help, you know what I'm saying. We delegate and we make things work. We always make a way. We always find a way. And I think that's a real big part of Black History Month too, because of all the people that's worked together in the past, and, you know what I'm saying, to help out each other and really give people a platform to be successful. So yeah,
absolutely.
I think it's also very important to like realize that even though like, I mean, we don't know each other, I don't know you guys, but we also like all have kind of like the same mindset and the same views, and it's so like insane to think about, and like the culture behind all the stuff that we do, and to think like we all kind of have the same mindset, we all kind of click and know, and like anytime I'm anywhere and like I see a Black person, I'm like, okay,
yeah,
I'm safe, I know I'm good.
Absolutely.
Like it's just like, I don't know, it's some weird thing where like we all kind of click and we all kind of know what's going on. What kind of legacy do you hope that your organizations leave here at NSU?
I mean, I kind of touched on it earlier. I just hope there's more. I would love to see like major specific Black organizations of like Black business majors, you know, Black media studies majors, Black history majors. Like, just, I would love to see more and more and more stem from this. I don't want the Black Student Union and Kappa Alpha Psi to be the only Black organizations on campus, and I don't want them to be the only cultural organizations on campus. I want people to just keep building those cultural organizations. I want our campus to be so rich in culture. I want people in the future, when they think of NSU, to think of diversity and richness and celebration of culture. And I think that's possible. I think that's closer than we're allowing it to be. I think just if more people would step out of their comfort zone and say, I want this at campus, I want my culture to be celebrated on campus, I want this community on campus, go grab 3 friends and 2 advisors and you can make it happen. Like, I want to see that on campus. I want NSU to be known for that in the future.
Most definitely.
We'll be back after a quick break.
Start your day at Ease Old Town Coffee and Eatery in Fort Gibson. Enjoy rich coffee, lattes, homemade biscuits and gravy, hearty breakfasts, and fresh lunches, all served with a small town charm. Find Ease on Main Street in downtown Fort Gibson, open Monday through Saturday, 7 a.m. to 2 p.m. Ease Old Town Coffee and Eatery. Good food, good coffee, and good company.
You know, talk about leaving a legacy. By the time I leave NSU, I want this fraternity to be thriving. You know what I'm saying? Being a good light, you know, raising money, giving back to the community, doing things on campus, you know, showing people that, you know, there's people that care, you know what I'm saying? And also just being a home for whoever wants to feel a genuine bond, you know what I'm saying? And I hope that our legacy will lead to more D9s coming onto campus, you know what I'm saying? But at the same time, you know, we're the best.
How have students kind of responded to your organizations being on campus?
Excitement is probably the way I can describe it. I mean, I think there's a new air almost with just how people are feeling on campus. There's a new energy. Like, Black students are just interacting with each other. There's so many Black students I've never talked to before, and I'm like, hey, on the 19th, like, come to this, and they're like, oh, absolutely, thank you, or how's your day going? And just that community so much stronger, I feel like, even though we were all here last semester, we were all here, you know, not too long ago, but I feel like especially this spring, there's just a palpable excitement in the air about this. And even from non-Black students, there's just such an excitement about the possibility of what we're doing.
Most definitely. I do have to agree. There was a lot of excitement when, you know, the campus heard that the Noops was coming back, you know what I'm saying? I'm talking about, like, we're being told, like, being asked about, like, yeah, when is it happening, you know, like, how many, you know what I'm saying, are there going to be more? It's just, like, it's a steady thing, and I feel like since we've been back, you know what I'm saying, the support and just, like, that everybody gives, I feel like it's just been amazing. I can't lie. It's been amazing.
Yeah, it's so funny to me because when I found out about the Noops coming back, I was watching, I don't know if you guys have ever seen the show All American Homecoming, but it's it's based off the show All American, but it's like kind of a spin-off, and it is this girl who goes to she goes to a Black college, and so it has a lot of, like, the D9s, and it has a lot of that stuff into it. And so I was watching the show at the same time, and we were upstairs, and someone had done a story idea, and they were like, the Noops, and, like, said something, and I, like, kind of, like, jolted back, and I was like, I, like, looked at them, and I think someone was like, what's that, like, who's that? And I was like, oh, that's one of the D9s. I was like, and I was just like, it's just so funny that I was watching that at the same time that you guys, because that's where I was watching that show at the same time that I had found out about it. And so it was kind of, like, insane to me because that's when I was really into, like, learning about that and, like, learning about those type of colleges and learning the kind of history behind D9s and, like, why they're so important and the culture that goes into them. And so I thought it was amazing that you guys were coming back. I was like, well, I'm leaving, so I can't really do anything, like, with it. But I think it would have been an amazing thing, and I probably would have been a part of it when I was, like, new at the school. But I just thought it was an amazing time, and I thought it was amazing that you guys were coming and doing all this culture and, like, explaining everything.
Most definitely. Even though being in college, you know, that's not your only opportunity to join the fraternity. We also have alumni chapters as well. Like Tulsa alumni and Muskogee alumni, very close. They were both they both had members of Zeta Rho that went here back in the day. So, you know what I'm saying, this fraternity is for life. You know what I'm saying? Like, after college, it just doesn't stop, you know, as, you know, maybe some do. You know what I'm saying? We continue to go. We continue to push brothers to be the best that they can be. And also doing work for the community as well, you know. And so, yeah.
How do you guys collaborate with other organizations at NSU?
I feel like my biggest support has been my sorority, Sigma Sigma Sigma, which out of the 3 sororities on campus, we are the most diverse. Humble brag, humble brag. But I mean, every single woman in my executive board, Ty Willis, Chloe Walker, Angel Lyons, Ray Pearson, Kiera Wilson, they're all Sigmas. And so, I mean, I've just gotten so much support from my sisters, and I feel like Kappa Alpha Psi has also felt the love from a lot of Sigmas as well. I've gotten so much love from them, and so that's really been my biggest push is my sisterhood and Kappa Alpha Psi. I feel like the biggest collaborators that both of our organizations have is each other. I mean, every time there's a BSU meeting, every time we've talked about it, I've gotten energy from Kappa Alpha Psi. All of them came to our last one, and I literally just took off work before this so that I could come support them. I mean, I think we have each other. That's the biggest thing we have right now, and so those are the organizations that have helped me the most, for sure.
Yeah, for surely. You know, Katie, shout out to Katie Cochran. She's been a real big help. One of our biggest supporters since she found out that we were coming back. You know what I'm saying? But you know, also, you know, we're doing Greek scene with all the other fraternities and everything like that to go towards a purpose. But yeah, I would definitely say the BSU and Kappa Alpha Psi, we do support each other. Like, why not? You know what I'm saying? Like, to be there for each other, to be our biggest supporters, I feel like that's a really big thing.
And that's the point. I mean, that's literally the point. Like, I want there to be those black organizations on campus so there could just be a bigger sense of black community. The more the better, and there's no enemies, there's no competition. It's a family. It truly feels like that already, and it's so new and fresh, and so I just can't wait to see what it blossoms into.
Exactly. I feel like it's going to be something great.
And is your fraternity like under IFC, or like how does that kind of work?
So like, we aren't involved in the IFC meetings and everything like that, but we were still fairly new when they had the new elections and everything like that, so we unfortunately missed out, but we definitely plan on hopping on the board next fall semester for surely. But yeah, they've been really easy to work with and everything like that, but the way we handle our rushes and like pledging everything like that are two totally different types of processes, if that makes sense. Like, they do rush week and everything like that. We do plan on having a Kappa week later on, probably March, but for surely, yeah, we interview, like, you know what I'm saying, it's a totally different process.
How can students get involved with your organizations?
For mine, it's just show up. I mean, our meetings we have one meeting every month on a Thursday. So that's just not really in the way of anybody's church schedule, school schedule, weekend schedule. We have one meeting on Thursdays, and just show up. I mean, show up and talk to anybody. They'll talk to you back, I promise. Like, that's just really show up, and that's how you can get involved. It's simple as that.
Most definitely. You know, as, you know, the spring semester goes along, you know what I'm saying, we do plan on, you know, doing more events and everything like that. But as far as, like, you know, joining everything, we just had an informational. We had a pretty good turnout. We had about 7 or 8 people show up, and you know what I'm saying, we have some pretty good candidates, I will say that. But you know, to be involved, you know what I'm saying, like she said, you know, just show up, you feel me, show up to the events, and we'll definitely show you a good time. We'll definitely make you feel welcome and feel unjudged. Like, again, judgment-free zone. Like, come to have a good time.
Black people don't know a stranger.
Exactly. That Southern hospitality is real.
What message would you give to black students who feel disconnected on campus?
You're not alone. Like, you know what I'm saying? Don't be afraid to, you know, approach someone just because you won't know the outcome, you know what I'm saying? Again, I treat everybody like I open my arms up to everybody. Like, you know what I'm saying? If you need a friend, you need somebody to talk to, don't hesitate. I gladly take the time out my day to, you know, make sure that you're okay. You know what I'm saying? So just reach out.
this is coming from my blunt perspective, but I mean, you don't have an excuse to be disconnected anymore, you know what I mean? Get out that dorm, go to those meetings, go show up, go have some community, you know what I mean? Step out of that comfort zone. I mean, our whole purpose is to make sure that disconnect is like bridged. We want that to be bridged, but it can't be bridged without you. So come to the meetings, show up to the informationals, like you said, you know what I mean? Get plugged in. It's scary, but it'll be worth it.
Yeah, just taking that first step. It takes two to tango.
Mm-hmm.
So come on, we welcoming you.
Okay, and then my last question is kind of, how can non-Black students, faculty, and staff support your missions?
I think just have open ears and an open mind. I mean, I think learning about Black culture can be, I feel like there's almost a sense of white guilt when it comes to showing up to these meetings or supporting these organizations. They're almost supporting it out of a place of like, this happened so I have to. Like, no, just come as you are, you know, come to enjoy it. Come and just learn. It doesn't have to be out of this place of feeling obligated or feeling like you have to make up for the wrongs of the past. That's so much of what I've heard is like, oh, I just know like so much has happened. Like, I want to support this. Like, I appreciate that sentiment, but just come as you are, you know what I mean? And come to learn, come with an open mind. And that's the biggest way you can support us, is just to hear us, because that's the biggest part of these organizations, is that Black students want to be heard and Black students want to be seen. So just come and see us and hear us. And that is the biggest way you can support.
Yeah, I do agree, you know what I'm saying? And when they bring up the past, you know what I'm saying? Understandably, the past is the past, but you understand the past, you know what I'm saying? And again, have open ears. Just see where we're coming from, you know what I'm saying? Like, leave the bias at the door. Stereotypes, all that, leave it at the door, because, again, we're not going to come at you with that energy, you know what I'm saying? Again, welcoming you with open arms. So just hear us, you know, be there for us and really understand what our purpose is, and we'll be good.
Same goes for the BSU for sure.
Jay, Gabby, it was great talking with you both today. Thank you for coming in and speaking with me about Black representation on campus and your organizations. I enjoyed learning and speaking about it. For more information about the BSU and the Noops, visit Northeastern BSU and ZNoops on Instagram. Thank you for listening to the Hawk Talk podcast. You can find us at nsunews.com, Spotify, or follow our social media pages at TNE News on Instagram and the Northeastern on Facebook for the latest NSU news.
The Northeastern Student Government Association is a student-led organization committed to the betterment of the student body since 1925. NSGA programs and events are designed to enhance student life and handle student concerns. Whether it's student organization allocations, academic regalia loans, parking ticket forgiveness, or food assistance, NSGA wants to ensure NSU students are set up for success. NSGA events are free for all students to attend and include chances to speak with NSU faculty, staff, and NSGA members, as well as chances to participate in games and giveaways. Learn more about their events and programs by following their Instagram at NSU-NSGA or their Facebook page at NSGA Northeastern Student Government Association.